Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about The Handmaid's Tale Season 2, Episode 4. It's called Other Women, so full spoilers for the episode, as always. Joe, it's funny, we left last week's episode basically dreading this one, thinking, oh, this is going to be the most depressing thing ever. Now, it did get there at the end. By the end of the episode, it was pretty dire. This also might have been one of the funniest episodes of the entire show.
It might have been, yeah, you're right.
There's like two or three like really huge laugh moments, because we see that June is chained up in the bed in the basketball court like we saw. We saw all this. Lydia's in, and there's something so satisfying about seeing June just not give a shit anymore. Like just having her smirk at her and June, you know my effing name, and
I worry for her, post-pregnancy.
Oh yes, yes.
Because she can get away with whatever the hell she wants right now, barring, hurting the child.
Yeah, but I mean, Aunt Lydia kind of makes it sound like, if you give in, if you become Offred again, June did all these things, but Offred could go back home, Offred could have a life. Because she specifically says, June will, be here till the pregnancy is over, till the birth, and then she'll be executed, but Offred... so she's at least making it imply, like, I mean, she might be lying. I mean, they might just kill her anyway afterwards for what she's done, but certainly she's implying that, if you go back to being offered, you'll stay around.
I do wonder though as well, if they do want to just execute her, will they have to come up with a story? Because obviously they've gone, oh no, she was kidnapped.
That's true. Yeah, they're selling this story to make everyone feel better about the fact that she's back, even though obviously some people know that it's not true, but. They're telling everyone else, no, she was kidnapped and she's been rescued. And the commander comes in. That's the thing, like June's standing in there and her head's just kind of like, just waiting. And then Lydia's like, posture, dear, and she's like, oh, yeah, head down. she's just willfully not like.
She's kind of forgotten what she's meant to be doing almost.
Yeah, and I guess it is kind of forgetting, but it's almost like it's more that she doesn't feel the need to just pretend anymore.
She got used to that 3 months of freedom.
Yeah. And of course there's that dark moment where Serena Joy comes in afterwards into the room and like grabs her by the throat. And again she kind of like, and she quotes her own line back to her, she's like, hey, remember, as long as my baby is safe, so is yours. And even when she's being strangled, she's got this smirk on her face. It's
she's just letting it happen. Like, oh, she doesn't react to the choking until after Serena leaves the room. Then obviously, hands rubbing her throat. Okay, that hurt. But in the moment, just nothing.
It's more like she's satisfied that she's hurt her this much. Like she's this upset. Mm. She has some modicum of power, and it's kind of satisfying. But let's talk about the laughs. There's a couple of laughs that really. So we see that Aunt Lydia's got her tightly shut her. She comes round in the morning, wakes her up, and there's and again showing that she's kind of defied is that Lydia pulls the sheets off of her, and she's like, hey, get up, rise and shine, beautiful morning, hope you're hungry, blah blah blah. And like, she immediately just grabs her sheets back as if she's a kid getting woken up for school. And she's like, no, go away. And I'm like, oh, this should never have done this last year. Last season, this would never have happened. And she's go for it. But again, it's very threatening. Obviously, the letters come back. It's like, oh, I can't keep these anymore. You have to, hide them. I can't. You don't know what it's been like. And because Serena points out, it's been 92 days. Like you've been gone 92 days, or maybe 93. It was in that region.
It's definitely the 90s. Yeah.
So it's been 90 something days. And it's like okay. But the two big laughs. So one is that they make they make June take a bath, right? And Lydia, like, she's in there on her own at first, and she's just kind of like
relaxing,
kind of just being depressed in the bath, as you'd expect she would be. And then Lydia comes in and stands there and hands her like a little washcloth that says, "Oh, you have to make sure you're clean for the baby."
I think what's one of those, she gives her the washcloth and goes, "Rub a dub dub."
That's what she says. There's that line.
Yeah.
And she's sort of like. And she sort of like starts dabbing her neck, just kind of like, okay, look, I'm doing it, piss off. And she's like, no, down there, dear. You don't want that to get infected or anything to get to the baby. And I love this so much because it goes to this shot from like sort of like down the bottom of the bath, right? And you just see June, like her knees just kind of separate slowly, and then she starts rubbing down there, and it cuts to her face, and she's looking right at Aunt Lydia's eyes, and she's got this smirk on her face, and I'm like, oh, you want a show? I'm going to give you a show.
Pretty much, yeah.
And it was this like great little defiant moment of, especially given how conservative like this society's supposed to be and how they're actually executing people for being gay. Like she's like, no, you want a show? Fine. Hope you enjoy this, Lydia. I'm going for it.
I like that. You know, Lydia just doesn't react.
Yeah, no, she doesn't.
She just waits it out.
But it's just, when it cut to her face smirking at her and just, you know, it comes back to there's an old meme on the internet. It's a stupid meme, but it's one that always made me chuckle. It was if your parents catch you masturbating, look them in the eye and finish like a beast, right? This is kind of what that was doing.
It is, yeah.
In a weird way, and it was making me laugh because it had a point, it had a dramatic point behind it, which is the best part. And then the other laugh, of course, is the next day there's a shower. And we do the whole ridiculous thing where all the other wives are all talking to Serena, and they're all like, "Oh, this, you're glowing, you got your baby back," and there's like, all this ridiculous stuff. And June's just sitting in the corner, Lydia's behind her, and and Lydia's kind of being nice. She's like, "Hey, do you want some tea? Do you want some coffee?" She's like, "I'm fine." It keeps going, and then eventually, like, she sees that Serena is starting to feel a bit shitty because the other wives are like, "Oh, you've missed so much the first trimester. You've missed so much already. It's so happy you have it back." And you can see it's making her uncomfortable. He's like, "Oh, like, she's like, you can tell in her head, she's like, oh, that bitch Offred's taking this from me." And now all the other wives, I'm embarrassed. I'm humiliated in public because of her. And then immediately, without skipping a beat, June just shouts out. Because they start talking about the kicking and the first time the baby kicks and so on.
It was because obviously they see that Serena's a bit anxious as well, and they were like, "Oh, don't worry, I was really nervous as well," and right up until that first kick when it was like, "Okay, now it's real."
Without missing a beat, like literally, like not even in time to process it or contemplate it, June just shouts out, and we saw this as well when she got out of the bath. We saw her reacting to this. She just shouts out, "Oh, the baby kicked for the first time last night." And then everyone just turns and looks at her, and this was funny on its own. I was laughing already. This was hilarious, and like Serena just looks like she wants to kill her, and she looks devastated. And then the best part of the whole thing, though, is like after everyone starts talking again, Aunt Lydia's like, "Do you want to take a break, dear?" And she's like, "No, I'm having a great time."
and then Aunt Lydia tries to lead her off anyway.
Yeah,
like, come on.
I'm having a great time. This show usually breaks me, but not in a funny way. This show usually breaks me in a depressing way. This broke me in a funny way. I was really into the humor early on. Now, of course, I know this show well enough to realize that that's probably because
isn't going to last. Yeah,
it's probably going to destroy me by the ending, and it does it in a very kind of personal way. We get flashbacks eventually in the episode to Luke's like a first wife before.
It went so long because it was like over halfway when we first got them.
Yeah.
I thought we just weren't getting any of this episode.
Yeah. And you almost wonder, is this going to feel unbalanced? But to be honest, the two flashbacks we get are so relevant and add to the story so much that
maybe they could have been spread apart a bit more evenly. But
yeah, maybe. But
other than that, what's in them's good.
Because the theme, of course, is that Luke's wife comes and says, "Hey, can you like stop seeing my husband? I want to try and rebuild my marriage." And this is obviously before, because later on, the next flashback we get later on is that this is after they've had the baby, they've had Hannah. So presumably that's after they've separated properly, and now June's married to Luke, and the whole theme here is that she took the husband away, and of course there's a lot of logic here saying, "Oh, it's not just on you. Like Luke was clearly unhappy with his marriage, or he wouldn't have went for someone else and so on." There's a lot of other things going on. They make
a strong point of telling us that they were separated already when they hooked up. There wasn't an overlap.
Yeah, and from the way Luke is angry and the way that he's talking to her, because when he finds out about this, he leaves her very angry. And this was also a little laugh actually, because you think he's talking to her, and then she's like, "Oh, did you just hang up on her?" He's like, "Oh no, it was voicemail." He's like, he went on this tirade on the phone.
Yeah,
And you can't tell, okay, right, clearly he was not that happy beforehand. Like, this is not all on June. Like, whatever was going to happen, he was going to probably leave eventually anyway. June might have been like this extra spark that kind of convinced him, hey, the reason why I'm into June so much is because I'm unhappy. But, she puts it on her and she tries to make her feel, and June does feel guilty at first. Luke kind of cheers her up and makes her feel better about it, but she does feel guilty at first. Luke's wife is shouting, you're a whore at her as she's walking to her car. Again, very humiliating. And then the rest of the episode, it kind of dumps on her all these different things. Like, First she's talking to Alma, and we see the burns on her arm, and we hear that Mayday's went silent, and they're not helping Handmaids right now, presumably because they got cut out here. Yeah. And we find out that Offglen 2.0 had her tongue cut out because she spoke up for Janine.
Yeah, pretty severe, but also, well, severe to us, but seemingly standard here.
Yeah, and you know, Alma points out, like, hey, like, you didn't get her to speak. Like, that part was her choice. Like, that's not on you. But of course, June, we're seeing these flashbacks, we're seeing June's reaction to this. In fact, I like the moment here because it was almost a little meta moment where Aunt Lydia comes out and catches her in a flashback. Because she's still sitting there on the stairs, sort of staring away.
No, that's true. I did also like, you know, as much as she was like, hey, that wasn't you, she kind of leaves it with a bit of a dig. It's like, you know, it's not all you, but some of it is. Yeah,
the burn on my arm is you, because we all did that because you started it. And obviously then we have the little ritual where I noticed they had like red and green threads, because that's the two colours the handmaids and the wives wear. And they have this ritual where they hold hands, and again, Serena's not very happy about it. June's clearly not very happy about it. And obviously, Lydia has to go out and kind of like comfort Joy at one point. She's like, "Hey, you know, you resent her, and that's normal, and God will forgive you. But you know, everything's good for the baby." Because at one point, Serena goes to the commander and is like, "Hey, I want her out. I don't care. Like, get her out of the house. I hate her. I hate her guts.
Just give us the baby at the end."
And I mean, I don't know his like motivations right now, because he convinces her, no, you're like, you deserve this pregnancy, you deserve not to miss anything. And I'm like, I'm not even sure what his.
I don't know. We haven't had anything from him in such a long time.
Yeah, I mean, we see one scene with other commanders where he's trying to convince the head of them to let him go to Canada for these disputes. They're talking about regulations and something.
They want Canada to lift the sanctions that they've put on them.
Yeah. So no, I mean, I'm not sure where we're going with him yet this season. Clearly though, I feel like he has ulterior motives, because he always has more things going on. So I'm not sure where though at this point. But this is very much a June focused. I mean, a lot of the episodes are June focused episodes, but that's one especially. Yeah. And that's when, you know, after all this, like, Lydia still sees that she's being defiant, like all her little mannerisms, all the way she keeps talking back to people, the way she keeps embarrassing people, and all these things. By the way, let's not gloss over the fact that Serena was clearly noticing the way that that June was looking at what's his face,
Nick,
thank you. Yeah. When he comes in, and it's this moment, and I'm like, oh dear, like she's really, because I was actually thinking as June was looking at him, like, oh man, you're doing this too long, someone's going to notice this, and sure enough.
But obviously, she was familiar with that relationship to an extent anyway.
Yeah, no, there's truth to that.
So it's not like this is a shocking revelation to her.
No, it's maybe just the like how much she seems to care. Like she sees the emotion in her face, and it's like, okay, this is maybe more than I thought it was before.
Yeah. Not
necessarily jumping to, oh, Nick helped her escape or anything like that, because clearly his cover's still intact.
Oh, it has to be, yeah.
Yeah. So that's going on, and then of course Lydia, to kind of finally like put her in line, takes her out. We've seen this location before, but by the water, where they hang people.
It right back in the, if not the first episode, in one of those first 3 that we got on.
Yeah, it was the first couple. It was because we see like a scene of the handmaids like washing the blood off the wall and so on. And she takes her out, and there's this one hanging body, and there's a sack over his guy's head, and she starts talking about, oh, we got you, you're kidnappers, and I'm like, oh god, no, because last episode they did a really neat job of making us, care about him certainly, and then even though the wife wasn't very like willing, but we got why she wasn't willing. She was terrified, and quite rightly so, as it turns out, because he's dead. The husband is hanging, and again, this is going back to, this is on June. At least she feels that way. It's not really. It's this awful state that's to blame for this, but she feels to blame for this. She. As Lydia even says, oh, you didn't ask, you just, went in and she doesn't even know anything. She's just kind of making leaps, I think.
Oh, yeah, definitely, but I don't think that matters.
It doesn't, no.
She's just like, this'll do, this'll work.
Yeah, and we find out that the wife is now a handmaid. That's how she's been punished, and the son's been sent off to another family. And, we saw how much the mother was, like, terrified of her son being taken away. She didn't want her talking to June. She had, pulled them away at various points. And we know they were hiding things, and we know just enough about this family that they feel like real people. To find out that he's now dead, the wife is now in the same hell that she's in, because of June's actions to an extent. Again, it's not really her fault, but
no, it's essentially his fault, right? In some ways, he chose to take her back. He couldn't, that's the crux
true.
of him. Of course, you can go back further and go, oh, it's the whole system is corrupt, and that's why he had to do it. But he made the choice to stand up.
Everything that's going wrong goes all the way back to that, right? This is the state's fault that everyone is driven to this. You don't blame someone in Nazi Germany for getting caught by the SS for being stupid because they were trying to stand up for noble things.
Exactly.
Right? It's not their fault, but
you can say, oh no, it was his choice to stand up and his choice to bring June into his home.
Yeah, sure. So it's, again, even in this horrible state, it's not all on her. Other people are still making their own decisions. Just like with Offglen 2.0, with speaking out. She chose to speak out, hence the tongue being cut out. Because there's that little dark moment where she doesn't. Everyone's like saying the phrases during the ritual, and you see Offglen 2.0, and she's just not saying anything because she can.
I thought it was interesting how Serena got really into that ritual. Like, she got really desperate looking. Like, she's like, oh, this better work.
Yeah, no, I got that. And then there was a scene afterwards where Lydia, and we've seen this before, where they bring in the Martha and Nick, and the whole household, as it were, has to see this little ritual. And it's just basically just June asking to stay. She would really like that. And this is after she's been broken. And then the big thing is we hear a little bit more of the narration this episode, the inner thoughts here or there throughout the episode. And of course, towards the end of the episode, the final kind of like twist of the knife. And I loved this because it was like it was like a big thing but a small thing at the same time. And in the sense, it's a small thing but it had big meaning to her. As the previous handmaid had written in the closet. And she lies in the closet. She wants to feel safe because this is after the really creepy scene of Serena coming in and feeling the baby. Not saying anything to June, just feeling the baby. Really
I wasn't sure if she thought June was asleep, or if she knows she's awake.
I don't think she cares.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, I just got the feeling she didn't care. Maybe she does think she's asleep. I don't know. Maybe that's sort of a way that June could embarrass her, potentially. But I don't know if she'd care.
I don't think they'd see it as embarrassment because that's just her
taking
part in the pregnancy, the way they see it.
No, yeah, that makes complete sense. But she feels so broken after this that she goes back, and we've seen her do this last season. She goes to the closet, she sleeps in there, and she doesn't look at the writing on the wall. She just puts her hand out, and I'm like, and I really liked this even before the reveal, because I was like, oh, this was a big thing. This was like in a really dark place last season. This was a moment of strength, that there was someone here before, and this was like some sort of solidarity. And then you see she looks over and the camera cuts to it, and they've found this and they've sanded it and it's gone. It's been erased again. I mean, why did they search her room? Because she escaped. They had to look into it. Again, this is kind of on her. This is all going back to her feeling that she's to blame for everything. And it's actually heartbreaking because the episode ends with, we hear the narration and she's talking throughout, and she sort of ignores Nick and she's walking out. She puts on the actual big cone again for the first time, because all episodes she's been in the little, the little bonnet. And the hood. She just had the little thing on it. And then at the end, she puts on the big cone, she goes out, and she's waiting at the gate. Like we've seen, this was the opening scenes of season 1, with her going out to get food with with Offglen, the original Offglen. And she's standing there and she's talking in her narration, and then she just starts saying the phrases, thankful for the weather, blessed be. She just starts saying the phrases over and over again. In her head, she's lost her own voice, and she's so broken at this point that she's saying the things she's supposed to be pretending in her head. They've actually kind of broken her, and in that way, it might even be the most depressing ending when you really think about it.
Maybe, because she's even as whenever everything has been as awful as it's been, she's still had her narration,
her strength inside. Yeah, she still had her inside.
Yeah.
And it feels like that's been kind of... And I have no doubt she will get it back. I have no doubt that she will somehow find strength again, because otherwise the show will just be essentially torture porn. If she never gets it back. But, that's a big thing. I feel like this is a really big episode in that sense. And I think if you had a concern that her going back to the house might start to feel like, oh, we're just doing season 1 again, things have changed. The way that she's been treated is different. The fact that she is now this broken is different. There's definitely advancement here.
Definitely. It's all an evolution of what we've had.
So no, I'm both excited and terrified of future episodes. But at the same time, like, now we have to have that moment of hope. Like, what brings her back? What's the thing that convinces her that all is not lost?
Yeah, I don't know. It's got to be. See, strangely, I don't think it's going to be something big. I think it'll be something small.
I agree. Yeah, it'll be something small, but it'll feel huge to her.
Yeah, but I don't think it'll be a big moment. In the way
no, that's
played.
fair. Yeah, I think it'll probably be a big moment dramatically. Like, we'll feel it. Like, there'll be no mistake to us that this is the moment. But yeah, it'll be something relatively small in terms of the world, if that makes sense. Because at one point in this, she even says, "I hope Hannah forgets me." She actually says that in a narration.
Mm.
You know, last episode, I hope she forgives me. This episode, I hope she forgets me. That's, you know...
Yeah, it's the first stage to her being broken.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, let's just give up.
Yeah. Or arguably stage 99 out of 100, because I feel like we've been going through a lot of stages towards her being broken.
The first stage in this episode.
Okay, sure. We've went through many a stage. And it's this guilt that she's to blame. And I think that even that is a core theme, is the idea that with sexism, often it's about trying to make a woman feel responsible for something that she's not actually responsible for, and use that guilt to kind of control her. And I feel like that's kind of what's been successful here, is we've gotten to that point where Lydia's done that, and the world around her's done that, and her fighting through that is going to be a big thing, I think. So, but hey, it's great. I mean, I think if there was any worry before this season, that because they were out with the book now, barring some extra flashbacks that maybe they didn't explore already, that they were going to miss a step. I don't know.
I think my biggest complaint in terms of things like that so far is some of the inner narration hasn't felt quite as sharp.
Okay.
I haven't quite felt the bite of it as much as I did last season.
I wonder if that'll come back full swing when she gets it back, because it'll be a big...
It might do, yeah.
Yeah, like maybe she lost it a little bit before now because she didn't need it as much, because she was kind of free and she was able to do things, and it was kind of coming back this episode until she was broken, and now it's...
No, that's fair.
But no,
we'll wait and see on that one then.
It's a fair observation, but I can see it maybe coming back full swing. Like maybe just one the moment she'll have it back, it'll just be one catty line or something like that right at the end of an episode.
It's not like there's been anything wrong with the things they're saying. They just haven't quite had the sting that we got, with the timing of it sometimes.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll see what they'll do with that. But again, I just wanted the bath scene, and then no, I'm having a great time. I was laughing out loud at this, and it's been funny. Obviously, like you say, her narration in the past has been quite witty, but these two scenes really had me laughing out loud, which is not something I expect to do when I'm watching Handmaid's Tale.
No, I go in expecting no laughter.
I expect to be hunched up in a ball,
pretty much,
with a cat consoling me and pawing me in my face, trying to make sure I'm okay. That's what I expect when I go to watch Handmaid's Tale.
That much. The
cats care.
They just want to know if you're dead, so if they can eat you.
That's cat slander. I will not abide by it.
It's not slander if it's true.
It is slander.
We'll see. We'll see if the cat eats you at some point.
Well, as long as I outlive you, then that won't be a problem, because you'll be dead first.
Well, we'll see about
that. I'm very well aware of your diet, Sunshine. I'm feeling good about this.
Oh, we'll see.
I'm feeling good about this.
My diet has no impact on anything. I couldn't even take that seriously myself.
One day there's going to be a very harsh doctor visit. Going to be very harsh.
There may indeed, yes.
Alright, that's Handmaid's Tale, episode 4 of season 2. Is it 4 or is it 5? It's 4, right?
I think it's 4.
It's 4, yeah. Yeah, what can I say? The episode was such a journey. I went through such turmoil.
You thought it was 2 episodes?
I thought it was 2 episodes. I thought the first half was the funny comedy hour, and then the second half was the oh my god.
It's Handmaid's Tale hour. Oh
my god, I'm suicidal again. Thank you, Handmaid's Tale, for doing this to me every week. Thank you. But it's very effective. And do you know what? Again, it does it just enough where you don't feel like it's just doing it all the time. Where it gives you the comedy, it gives you the other moments of hope, where it doesn't just feel like it's pummeling you too much. Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
It knows its line, and I think that's impressive. So, there you go, Handmaid's Tale, episode 4. So let us know what you thought of this one in the comments below, like, subscribe, all that stuff. If you want to support us, head over to patreon.com/MailFuzzTV. It's worth going over there anyway. You get a list of all the audio feeds, a list of all the YouTube playlists and stuff in the top post. Well worth checking out. Because we do TV news every week as well. Even if you're not interested in any of the other shows we review, we do a news video every week where we talk about the various shows in development, and that tends to be quite a wacky conversation.
Pretty loose, isn't it?
Yeah. We let ourselves tangent a little bit more than that because we're not as focused in one show.
This being the one where we just had a discussion about cats eating people and my diet.
That was like a minute at the end. Come on now.
Yeah. But that you could expect a lot more of that in the news.
But that's Handmaid's Tale. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?